The New Zealand accent is instantly recognisable, that familiar Fush and chups sound that sets us apart from Australians. Now archival recordings from the early 1900s are giving linguists new clues about how our accent came to be.
Down the gully and across the creek and up to the school that way. And if tide was in, you couldn't get across the bottom. You had to go around the top and down Oniwa Road.
And because I was a sick child, and I nearly died a couple of times, she bought a lovely white embroidered frock. She thought if I died, she'd lay me out in it.
And he walked from there to the sugar works, and sometimes we didn't see him for 3 days if there was a breakdown.
Well, Brooke Ross, postdoctoral fellow at Auckland University, has been studying the recordings and she joins us now. Hey Brooke, thanks so much for being with us this morning. So what does this research tell us?
So we're sort of at the early stages of the research, but this research came out of a work that we found from Otago University written in the 1920s by a Professor George Edward Thompson, who was working at the university at the time. And he basically wrote a whole treatise on the New Zealand accent in 1920 at this moment in time where the accent was really just starting to form. And one of the things that he said in that work was that the accent was developing the fastest in the North Island and in Auckland, and we've never really known where the New Zealand accent sort of emerged from or how it emerged, but that work gave us some idea of where to look. And so what we're trying to do is take these historical recordings from Auckland and see if we can verify what he's kind of said about the New Zealand accent and whether it really did emerge out of the North Island first.
Oh, that's fascinating. So how did we end up sounding so different to the Aussies?
Well, in some ways we do sound quite similar to the Aussies, so it's which parts of our accent are very different to the Aussies. It's kind of presumed that because we were settled a little bit later and because we had a different mixture of accents that came to New Zealand, that we sort of wound up with slightly different features than the Australians have. And then we do have unique features of our accent. So obviously I think the fish and chip spell is the one that everyone's very familiar with. That's sort of a very New Zealand innovation, and the fact that so we have words like near and square that rhyme with each other that don't rhyme with each other in most British or Australian accents. We have things like that that are very unique New Zealand innovations. And to be honest, a lot of those we're not sure how they came to be, and that's kind of what we're hoping to find out from this project. Did they emerge out of somewhere like Auckland, out of the accents that came together there, that sort of thing?
Okay, so if it started maybe in the North Island, do we know why Southlanders roll their R's?
We actually do know a little bit about that. It's assumed to be because there was a really large Scottish population down in Southland in their early history, and in sort of Scottish varieties of English, they roll their R's. So that sort of came out of all of those Scottish people down there. So when you get a new accent formed, it comes out of all of these accents come together and something new comes out. And down there, they had a lot of people rolling their R's, and that survived to the modern day.
Okay, fascinating. And so will our accent continue to evolve, or is this just how we're going to sound for decades and decades?
It'll absolutely continue to evolve. So something we've been looking at aside from this, the other work that I do is on the modern New Zealand English accent in Auckland. And so we're finding real differences with young people in Auckland. So changes to the New Zealand accent that started maybe 10, 15 years ago, and now we're starting to find spread out to other parts of the country as well. So accents are always changing, they'll always evolve. And I think it'd be really interesting to see what features we kind of hold on to and what features wind up changing into something new in the future.
That's fascinating stuff. Thanks so much for your insights this morning and joining us on Herald Now. Brooke Ross from the University of Auckland.